Oakland for 3 on the 25th, 26th, and 27th, all 7 o'clock starts. It's a 5 p.m. start on Saturday the 29th at Fenway against the Angels. And the Mariners come to town on the 31st at 7. Fox Baseball Thursday has 4 games in August, and the Paw Sox hit Nesson for 4 games as well. It's a full month of baseball on Nesson.
Live from Fenway Park in Boston, the New England Sports Network presents exclusive coverage of Boston Red Sox baseball. Tonight is the Red Sox against the Cleveland Indians. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the ballpark. I'm Bob Kurtz, along with Jerry Remy, and the Red Sox are finally back on home turf. Back here in New England following a 6-game road trip in which they lost 3 out of 4 in Baltimore and then split 2 games with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Now, the Sox have had pretty similar records this year as far as home and road, but it is nice to be home.
Well, one thing they do better at home is they certainly hit better here at Fenway Park than they do on the road, and that was evident on that last road trip. But look at the numbers for the season. 302 average here at Fenway, only 267 on the road. And, of course, I think this is a very critical part of the schedule for the Red Sox. The next 6 games at Fenway, but most of them are going to be on the road until about August 11th, so that's a very tough stretch. They're going to have to play better there, but they've got to take advantage of the game they're playing here at Fenway Park, and the competition is going to be tough.
Yeah, the Sox only have 6 home games between now and mid-August, these 2 against the Cleveland Indians, and then 4 later this month against the Toronto Blue Jays. We've got a terrific pitching matchup for you tonight. Pedro Martinez goes against Cologne.
Well, how many times we have these kind of matchups in the course of a season? Not very often, and a lot of times we hype them so much that the starting pitchers don't only go about 3 innings in the ball game, but they really hooked up very well. Martinez, you see, second in the American League, Cologne first. Opponent's batting average, they're very close, and they're in the top 10 in strikeouts, with Martinez being second with a 147. So with the wind blowing out here at Fenway Park, it may not make a difference because of these 2 pitches.
Interesting matchup tonight. The Red Sox and Cleveland Indians both have identical records, 53 wins, 38 losses. Our pitching matchup tonight, Cologne against Martinez, all coming your way next right here on Nesson. Mobil, introducing the fastest way to get gas, Mobil Speed Pass. It's free, and it's only at Mobil. And by Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. Back home at Fenway Park here in Boston, where the weather is still pretty Florida-like for the Red Sox. Hazy, hot, and humid. A game-time temperature of 87 degrees. Sox are home for just a brief 2 games. The opposition provided by the Cleveland Indians. Mike Hargrove features Kenny Lofton leading off in center field. Then Omar Vizquel bats at the number 2 hold at shortstop. David Justice will hit third. He's the DH. Manny Ramirez, drive cleanup hitter. Brian Giles in left field. It's Travis Fryman at third base. Sandy Alomar handling the catching chores. Jeff Branson at first base, replacing Jim Thome, who was hit in the forearm last night by an Andy Pettit fastball. And David Bell bats number 9 and plays second base.
And the defense tonight for the Red Sox, John Valentin will be at third base. Nomar Garcia-Parra, the shortstop. Mike Benjamin's at second and Mo Vaughn at first. Left to right will be Troy O'Leary, Darren Lewis, and Darren Bragg. Scott Hatterberg behind the plate. And on the mound, right-hander Pedro Martinez. Martinez 11-3 on the season. 2.90 ERA. That's second best in the American League. 2 of the guys pitching against tonight. Cologne, he is second in strikeouts with 147 behind Randy Johnson. And he's the toughest to hit in the American League with a 214 batting average against. Not involved in a decision in a game earlier in the season against the Indians. The Red Sox won that 3-2. But in that ball game, Martinez went 9 innings, only allowing 4 hits, and had 12 strikeouts. That's the season high for Pedro this season.
Pedro lost his last time out against the Orioles. That snapped a 5-game winning streak. So Martinez all set to go to work here against the Cleveland Indians tonight. Tonight's umpires are being brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely and cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. Harry Kraft works behind the plate tonight. Veteran Jim McKean at first base, Dale Ford, the second base umpire, and Al Clark will be at third base. Very special night here at Fenway Park. Special ceremony. This all-star time now. The game in Coors Field is history. The Red Sox will host one next July. Gathering on the field before the game, Lou Gorman, among others, to introduce the new all-star logo on the left field wall.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the Green Monster as the 1999 all-star logo Surveyor.
Boston home of a 1999 All-Star game here at Fenway Park next July. As we get underway, Kenny Lofton takes the first pitch from Pedro Martinez for a called strike. President John Harrington part of that ceremony. Executive Vice President John Buckley joining Lou Gorman, American League President Dr. Gene Budig, and also General Manager Dan Duquette, all on the field before the game. The Cleveland Indians are in town. Sox have had good success against the Tribe this year. 5 wins in their 6 meetings. Martinez with a close pitch there on 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lofton. Returning to the Indians this year as a free agent following his appearance last year as a member of the Atlanta Braves. It's a brief appearance here at the plate against Pedro Martinez as he blows a fastball by him for strike 3.
Well, Pedro picking up where he left off the last time he faced the Indians. We mentioned the 12 strikeouts and throws the fastball right by Kenny Lofton to get his first of the night.
Well, Martinez all set to go to work now against Omar Vizquel, who appeared in his first All-Star game this year. 296 for Vizquel. No homers, 30 runs batted in. Vizquel, the reigning Gold Glove winner at shortstop. As a matter of fact, he's a defending 5-time champion. Rewarded by his manager, Mike Hargrove, selecting him to his first All-Star game. Vizquel sends this one in the air to center. Darren Lewis is there to make the catch for the second out. It'll be interesting, mentioning Vizquel going to the All-Star game, Jerry, how Mike Hargrove is greeted by the crowd tonight, because of course Vizquel made the team at the expense of Nomar Garcia-Parra.
Well, Red Sox fans not happy because Nomar was not on the team. Also that Pedro Martinez did not start the ball game, but Mike Hargrove, as we mentioned before the All-Star game, also always has difficult choices to make, and somebody's going to be upset. And in this case, it was Nomar fans that were upset that he was not on the ball club. You can't blame Hargrove, though, for the guys that he took. They're all terrific shortstops.
Here's the Indians' designated hitter, David Justice. Fastball from Pedro misses at the knees. 35 for Justice, 12 round trippers, and 52 runs batted in. Justice got off to a quick start this year for the Indians, but has cooled. Cleveland is 3-3 since the break. All home games at the Jacobs Field in Cleveland. Split a 4-game series with the Twins and divided 2 games against the Yankees.
Been a struggle recently for Justice, though, for his last 12. Those games, most of them against the New York Yankees.
3-0, in for a called strike. Justice lines it foul, and that'll run the count full. 3-2. There was a time a couple of years ago that the Indians really dominated the Red Sox, winning 11 of 12 meetings one year. Last year, though, the Sox captured the season series 7-6. And as mentioned, they lead this time around 5-1. Payoff pitch here from Pedro. Little looper in back of second base. Nomar Garcia-Parra is there to make the catch. It's a 1-2-3. Top half the first inning. The Indians scoreless with the Red Sox coming up. Martinez in the top of the first. Now it's the Red Sox turn back here on home turf. Jimmy Williams' lineup has Darren Lewis as usual leading off, playing center field tonight. Darren Bragg returns in right. He's hitting number 2, followed by Nomar Garcia-Parra in the number 3 slot. Bo Vaughn bats cleanup at first base. Troy O'Leary patrols left field. It's John Valentin getting the call tonight at third base. Scott Hatteberg behind the plate. Mike Benjamin at second base, and Midray Cummings will be the DH, and he will bat number 9.
Cleveland Indians are 3rd in the league in defense. 58 errors in 91 games. Tonight, Travis Fryman will be at third base. Omar Vizquel, the shortstop. David Bell at second, and Jeff Branson at first. Left to right, Brian Giles, Kenny Lofton, and Manny Ramirez. Sandy Alomar behind the plate, and on the mound, Bartolo Colon, who leads the league in ERA with a 2.56. You see his win-loss, 9-4 on the season. Colon also is third in the league in opponents' batting average against at 223, and is ninth in the league in strikeouts with the 101. He's faced the Red Sox a couple of times this year. He is 0-1, a total of 10 2/3 innings, 15 hits for the Red Sox against Colon, and 7 earned runs. But he is really one of the reasons why the Indians feel that they're going to be very tough in postseason play with Jared Wright and the hard-throwing Bartolo Colon. Good fastball.
Colon is riding a 5-game winning streak as he takes to the mound here at Fenway Park tonight. Red Sox sending up Darren Lewis, Darren Bragg, and Omar Garcia-Parra here in the home half of the first. Lewis checking in with a 281 average, 4 homers and 38 runs batted in. Balled strike, says Terry Kraft. Lewis with 4 hits in 24 trips on the road trip to Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Colon working fast, quickly ahead of Lewis, 2 strikes. Sox glad to be home, albeit brief. 1-5 on the trip, dropping all 4 games to the Orioles at Camden Yards and then getting a split down at Tropicana Field against the Devil Rays. It's a ball and 2 strikes now on Lewis. Injuries piling up for the Sox too. Reggie Jefferson placed on the 15-day disabled list prior to the ball game. The Sox activating Keith Mitchell to take his place on the roster. Lewis fouls it off. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
It does seem strange, Bob, to see the Red Sox in their home white uniforms and have fans cheering for them. It's been a lot of games on the road and certainly a lot more to come until about the middle of August.
Sox have these 2 here, and then it's right back on the road again to Detroit and Cleveland. A quick 4 games against the Blue Jays later this month here at Fenway, and then that long West Coast swing, including a stop in Texas on the way back. Sox and Indians have identical records, 53 wins and 38 losses. In Cleveland's case, it's good enough to lead the Central Division. Cleveland leads by 11.5 over the Twins. Sox running second to the Yankees, 15 games behind in the East. Boston and Cleveland tied for the second best record in the American League behind the Yankees. Two pitch here from Colon, misses outside. It's a full count. Outfield shading Lewis to right. Payoff pitch from Colon. Line drive, base hit, right center field. Kenny Lofton over to pick it up, and Lewis leads the ball game with a single for the Red Sox.
Well, that's a heck of a leadoff at bat for Darren Lewis. He made Colon throw a lot of pitches, ran the count to 3-2, and then picks up the line drive base hit. Hopefully, being back in those white uniforms and here at Fenway Park, we told you the team batting average over 300 here at Fenway can get the bats going for the next couple of games.
Jeff Branson holding with Lewis at first base. Again, Jim Thome, who was in the original starting lineup, scratched tonight by the Indians. He was hit by a pitch last night by Andy Pettit. He thought he might be all right, but going to give him at least another day off. Darren Bragg, meanwhile, returns for the Red Sox. Suffered a slight strain in his groin throwing out Wade Boggs at the plate the other night down in Tampa. Sat out yesterday's game. Jimmy Williams says mostly as a precaution because, you know, the day game after the night game and the fact they're playing on turf. So Bragg is back in the lineup for the Red Sox. Bragg had a fairly decent trip. 7 hits in 17 trips, including a home run. Big fastball, big cut. 1 ball, 1 strike. You correct that count. It's 0-2. Center field scoreboard is out here at Fenway Park tonight. All the heat, apparently. We've had some power difficulties in the area. We've been battling it, I know, down in our Nesson truck. down the right field line. 87 degrees here at game time tonight. Fastball is wide, 1-2.
I don't know about you, but this feels cool to me compared to down in Florida.
I guess we sort of got conditioned to it.
The humidity is certainly high here, but it seems like it's 4 times higher down in Florida than it is here.
Lewis held by Branson over at first. Strike 3 called. Colon grabs the outside corner for his first strikeout of the night.
Colon will basically go with 3 pitches: the fastball, which is very hard, the slider that he'll strike Bragg out here, and also the changeup. Picks up the outside corner with that pitch to pick up his first strikeout. Look at 2 pitches in this game tonight that have really gone well this season: Martinez and Colon. This is not one you dream about if you're a hitter for either ball club.
And nice to be back to Fenway, but look who's on the mound for the opposition. Here's Nomar Garcia-Parra, 314 on the year, 13 homers, 58 runs batted in. Ground ball to third. Fryman goes down to second for 1. Back to first. Safe at first base. Garcia-Parra just beat the relay there from David Bell.
See, sometimes the difference in a close play is the fact that the second baseman has to back off the bag instead of going to greet the ball across the bag. If he could come across the bag, it shortens up the distance. But here he has to back off, not sure where the throw's going to be, and that's the difference at first base. Lewis doing his job by going in, trying to break up the double play.
Now we were interested what kind of reaction Mo Vaughn would get tonight when he was introduced to the crowd, and it's a mixed reaction here at Fenway Park. First time Mo has appeared back here at Fenway since the news of his contract flap became public during the All-Star break. On batting here with Garcia-Parra at first base and 1 out. Grounds it quickly to David Bell, over to Branson at first, and that'll retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We're scoreless after 1.
For 27 years, I've been peanuts, see? To my pal Tony says, this Coors Light, they frost through it, right? It's icy cold. So I says, I thought everyone drinks it because of all the peanuts I toss. See, I could hit a guy 8 rows up just by hearing the sound of his voice. It was my thing. But with Coors Light, I don't need a thing. Ow. Except maybe a towel. Coors Light!
The more power, the quicker the flash, the brighter the smiles. The more power, the more music to enjoy. Introducing the remarkable power of new Duracell Ultra with a concentrated power force to get more life out of your high-tech devices. The more power, the longer the call, the more expressive the conversation. New Duracell Ultra. More power, more life.
Right now, Dodge Ram is running up some very impressive numbers. Numbers like 4x4 and low $294 a month lease. Or how about these impressive numbers? 4x4, low 1.9% financing. Either way, you get a Dodge Ram 4x4 with Magnum power, air, cassette stereo, and more. But these impressive numbers won't be around forever, which means neither will this impressive number. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Back at Fenway, no score after 1. The Indians and the Red Sox. Let's take a look at the RBI leaders in the American League and National League, brought to you by New England Ford dealers. Gonzalez has been stuck on 101 for a while. Ken Griffey with 87. Albert Bell, who's been on fire, now with 81. Manny Ramirez will be leading off this inning with 77, and Alex Rodriguez 75. In the National League, McGuire with 91. Sosa 86. Castillo, Bichette, and Vaughn, the top 5 in the National League.
Sort of interesting. Bell heating up. Frank Thomas heating up as well. I saw that score. We're running our Nesson scores at 40 past the hour. 9-1 in favor of the White Sox over the Toronto Blue Jays in the first of a doubleheader tonight. Bell has been on fire. Thomas has started to hit better, so who knows. Here's Manny Ramirez leading off for the Tribe, followed by Brian Giles and Travis Fryman. Top of the second inning, scoreless ball game. Sox and Indians from Fenway Park. Tommy was the original cleanup hitter in Mike Hargrove's first lineup with Tommy sideline. Manny Ramirez moving into the cleanup hitter's role. Breaking ball from Martinez down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Red Sox infield straight away for Ramirez, but the outfield shades him toward right field. Darren Lewis to the right side of second base.
1-1 from Pedro. Line drive, base hit, right center field. Over to pick it up is Darren Bragg. It's a leadoff single for Ramirez. Guess we're going to have to update Bell's totals, I'm told. He has gone deep in that game against Toronto.
Boy,
so
he is really hot.
Batting fifth.
Well, you figured somebody was going to pay the second half of the season between Thomas and Bell. They struggled in the first half, and they're two good players to struggle for a long time.
Brian Giles, the left fielder. Giles just returning from a disabled list on the 8th of July, right before the All-Star game. Time called by plate umpire Terry Kraft. Giles was injured May the 30th. He crashed into the left field wall and suffered a second-degree sprain of his left ankle.
And he's hitting .533 since returning from the disabled list. 8 for 15.
Disabled the entire month of June. Martinez misses with his first offering to Giles. 1 ball, no strikes. Ramirez aboard with a leadoff single. One on and miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cleveland has an outstanding offensive team. You can toss out batting average, although the Indians are hitting .280 as a club 4th in the American League. They're 3rd in runs scored. That's the big statistic you want to look at, behind Texas and the Yankees. Indians are 3rd in steals, so they have a little bit of speed to go with some power. Mentioned in previous meetings with Cleveland, they can hurt you really from top to bottom in the order. It's a little easier, if you want to use that word. It's probably not a good one to use, referring to the Cleveland lineup, but a little easier with Thome out of a lineup tonight. Just back at first base. Thought he had him there for a second. Manny Ramirez just getting back in ahead of the throw from Pedro Martinez.
Well, he must have just barely grabbed the outside part of the bag. He looked like he had a step toward second base, and that's a heck of a way to get back to first. He did grab the outside part and got away from that tag by Mo Vaughn. Looked like he was going on that pitch too, didn't it, Bob? Had 1 step toward second base. I'll tell you one thing, both pitches in this game, Colon and Martinez, throw seeds to first base on pickoff attempts.
Matchup of right-handers from the Dominican tonight. Three balls and a strike. Giles had 6 home runs in his first 13 games this year and has had 5 now in his last 41. So he got off to a real power surge to start the year out on the West Coast in that first homestand at the Jake. Cleveland started the year this year 6 wins in their first 6 games. Indians 3 times this year have put together 6-game winning streaks. They have led the Central since opening night on March the 31st. They have dominated that division since it was formed back in 1994. Giles with a fly ball left center field. Darren Lewis is there to make the catch for the first out of the inning, and then we'll send Manny Ramirez back to first base.
Well, it's one of those Fenway nights, you know, hot, humid, the wind blowing out towards center field, out toward that left field wall, and certainly anything that goes up towards left field, you got to watch closely. That ball certainly not hit hard enough to get off the wall, but it's one of those typical midsummer Fenway hot nights that pitches through the years have not liked very much.
Although you got 2 pretty good pitchers going in this one, so it'll be interesting. Here's Travis Fryman playing on a winning ball club this year with the Indians after all those years. The struggling Detroit teams, 274 in the year, 17 homers and 61 runs batted in.
Very tough start for Fryman. Only 188 in April, but since that time hitting over 300.
He's having a year this year like John Valentin had a year ago. Remember that? And John got off to the real slow start in April, but the rest of the year he was over 300 the rest of the season. Fryman, as you remember, broke in with the Tigers. He was an everyday shortstop. They shifted into the third. He did a great job there. Wound up going to Arizona and then being traded to Cleveland in a trade for Williams. Matt Williams going home to the Phoenix area. Matt Williams replaced at third base this year by Travis Fryman. Vaughn has about as tough a duty tonight with Martinez on the mound as Hatterberg behind the plate. Blows the fastball by him. 1-2. Pedro clowning around for some of our camera shots yesterday down in Florida, but game face on tonight for Martinez.
Manny Ramirez getting a lot of attention at first base for a guy that has 4 stolen bases. Guess what Pedro's telling him, you're not going to surprise me and pick up number 5 tonight. On with the backhanded play, keeps it out of right field.
Strike 3 called. Pedro with his second strikeout of the night.
Well, I don't have a reading on that fastball, but it certainly sounded hard as it hit the mid of Scott Hatterberg and right on the corner. Pedro, at least in the early going, making the pitches he wants to. The changeup has been down. The fastball has been on the corner.
Fryman disposed of via the strikeout. Here's Sandy Alomar Jr., the Indians catcher. Fastball missing away. 1 ball, no strikes. Alomar named to his 6th All-Star team by his manager Mike Hargrove. That's the most in Indians history for a catcher. Sandy at 265, 5 homers, 32 runs batted in. Little nubber down the third baseline. This is going to be big trouble for the Red Sox. An infield single for Alomar. Just dies in the Fenway grass. Ramirez finally gets to second base. 2 on, 2 out.
That's the thing of beauty for Alomar, because you know as soon as you make contact it's going to be a base hit. Valentin playing well behind the bag, almost like a perfect bunt down the third baseline, and Alomar knows nobody can throw him out from there.
11, the first baseman.
You take him any way you can get him, especially against like pitches like Martinez and Cologne.
Jeff Branson filling in tonight for Jim Thome at first base. 205 on the year, no homers and 4 runs batted in. Branson acquired last July 31st on the trading deadline along with John Smiley, who spent a lot of time on the DL since last year, coming over from the Cincinnati Reds, making just his 3rd appearance this year at first base. Martinez goes right after him with a fastball. 1 strike. There's 2.
See if he continues to go up the ladder against Branson with the fastball.
Shoots 1 outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Base runners. Ramirez at second. Alomar aboard at first with 2 outs. Scoreless ball game here, top of the 2nd. Branson makes contact, still has life at the plate. Home of the All-Star Game, 1999. Third time that the Midsummer Classic will come to Fenway Park. There was a 1946 game where Ted Williams hit the 2 homers, knocked in 5 runs. The 1961 game that was called after 9, 1-1 tie because of the rain. In the 99 game will also be here at Fenway. They had quite a shindig this afternoon at the Diamond Club. Mayor Menino was here to give a nice speech. Dr. Budick from the American League.
Actually, I think it looks pretty nice up on the wall, and I guess they're supposed to keep it there the remainder of this season through the All-Star Game next year and for all the 1999 season. And they've done a little painting on top of the Red Sox dugout.
Looks nice. 2-2 pitch fouled.
Now I know what you were doing, Bob. All that time you were off for the All-Star break.
I was busy, Jerry.
Putting up that logo and painting the dugouts.
You know how hard they work us at Nesson. There's no days off. A pretty good job, didn't I? Little smudge. I know where some of the smudges are, but I'm not going to tell. But it is a good-looking logo. Branson again fouls it off. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sox will be seeing a bit of the Indians the next couple of weeks. These 2 at Fenway. Then the Sox have a day-night doubleheader. Split doubleheader next Tuesday in Cleveland and a night game next Wednesday in Cleveland. Strike 3 call. Martinez gets the outside corner. Branson is rung up. 3 strikeouts on the night for Pedro, and we're scoreless after 1.5.
You know his mark. You've heard his name. Zorro. On July 17th. Kill him! Experience what critics are calling a true epic adventure. It's the most fun you'll have at the movies this summer.
It's only 1 minute. Isn't just 1 minute. It's Zorro.
Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, The Mask of Zorro. Rated PG-13. Opens everywhere Friday.
Hole 9 of the Cooper Tire Invitational, a short par 3,000 teeing off from D.C. There's water to the right and a very tough pin placement deep in Maine. Quick recap. Our leader, nice layup. Then a great 4-iron here in Manhattan, and this tough shot over the giant green monster. Bill?
Thanks, Jim. Let's listen in.
Nice call on these Cooper tires. Good grip.
Back to you, Jim.
A quick peek to the back 9. Hole 10 starts off in Belgium.
The world is your course. Drive on.
Hey, another day with me. Hey, there you are, buddy.
Oh, boy.
Hey, Cousin Dave, I got a great idea for a new chicken sandwich.
Not that one with jelly beans.
No. This one has a Wendy's whole breast filet, a slice of Monterey Jack, and some creamy ranch dressing.
Why don't we add bacon and call it a Wendy's Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich?
Now you're talking, buddy. That sounds delicious.
And we brought it back 2 weeks ago.
Come in for a delicious Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich.
I knew this would taste good.
Me too.
Back at Fenway, bottom of the 2nd, no score. Indians and Red Sox. American League East rivals, the Toronto Blue Jays, will be at Fenway to take on the Red Sox July 23rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Come on out to Fenway to catch a game. For tickets, call 617-482-4SOX.
Blue Jays, one of the rivals for the wild card. If you're looking ahead to that in the American League, the standings there coming into tonight. The Red Sox leading Texas by 2.5 and Toronto by 7.5. Blue Jays are even 500 on the year, 47-47. They've got a doubleheader tonight at Comiskey Park against the White Sox. And as mentioned, they were down big in Game 1, 9-1. Scoreless here, Red Sox and Indians. As Troy O'Leary leads off the home half the 2nd. John Valentin, Scott Hatteberg to follow. 285 for Troy, 14 homers, 48 runs batted in. One ball, no strikes.
Tough road trip for O'Leary, only 2 for 21 on that trip after the All-Star break.
Could have that big hit in the 8th inning on Monday to give the Red Sox a little breathing room. It was 1-0 at the time. Dropped a single into left field to score the run to give them a 2-0 lead, and that proved to be the final score. 2 balls and a strike. Fly ball left field. Ryan Giles there for the Tribe, puts it away, 1 out.
Well, Cologne tonight trying to tie Dave Burba for the team lead in wins. He has 10 does Burba. Cologne 9. Jarrett Wright also has 9 wins. The top 3 starting pitchers in this rotation for the Indians. Cleveland second in the league in ERA, 3.91 behind the Yankees, just ahead of Minnesota and then the Red Sox.
John Valentin steps in for the Sox, so the Indians are way up there in terms of scoring runs and way up there in terms of preventing runs. They really like their pitching staff, anchored by the 2 young right-handers. Wright, of course, blossomed last year for the postseason. Cologne did not play in the postseason for the Indians. He has come on this year. He had 5 trips back and forth last year between Cleveland and Buffalo in AAA.
He's got 2 kind of fastballs too. That the cross-seam fastball, which is straight, the 2-seamer that'll sail back in on right-handers like he did there to Valentin. And they're both hard.
3-0 pitch, grounded, dribbled upside of the infield into left field for a base hit. Second hit of the night for the Sox. Valentin checks in at first base with 1 out.
Well, that's one way to get hitters going. You know, you get the count 3-0, and most of the time you'll put the take sign on, make them throw a strike. But when an offense is struggling, sometimes a manager would prefer they be aggressive and let them swing on 3-0 counts. Pays off that time as Valentin picks up the base hit. Breaks an 0 for 11 for John.
Well, Valentin aboard with 1 out. Here's Scott Hatteberg. Hatteberg had a home run off of Cologne back in April. He's got 273 on the year, one of those 8 home runs coming at Jacobs Field in Cleveland on April the 25th in a 3-2 Red Sox win over Cologne. Cologne was also no decision April the 20th here at Fenway.
He's had good luck against Cologne, 6 for 9 with a couple of home runs.
Cologne out of the Dominican Republic, 23 years of age, 6 feet, 185 pounds.
Well, certainly Hatteberg didn't like that call, but he hopes Martinez will get that. Not bad numbers against a pretty good pitcher.
Well, 4 extra base hits. Cologne will win this battle, though, as Hatteberg goes down on strikes.
That's one as you're walking back to the dugout, you say, well, that call, that second strike call, killed me in that at bat. Got a fastball there, challenge time. And swings right through the fastball. Second strikeout for Cologne, 1 on a slider, 1 on a fastball.
2 outs for the Red Sox here in the second inning. Mike Benjamin at .312 on the year. All the playing time Benjamin's had, still has the average over 300. 1 homer and 27 runs batted in. Cologne's first major league win came over the Red Sox right here at Fenway Park last June the 7th. Mentioned he bounced back and forth between Cleveland and Buffalo. He made his major league debut last April of '97 in Anaheim. He was no decision there. And then in his second major league start, he lasted only 2/3 of an inning at Seattle and threw 61 pitches prior to being demoted for the first time. He was back and forth. They wanted to give him a full year at AAA, but because of all the injuries to the major league staff, they really could not afford to do so. But obviously, he is ready this year. 9-4, 2.56 ERA coming in. 5 complete games and a pair of shutouts. Benjamin fouls it back, and the count is even now at 2-2. Cologne has shut out Anaheim 11-0 on a 4-hitter. That was the first week of the season on the West Coast. Also tossed a 4-hit shutout against Pittsburgh on June the 8th. 5 complete games, more than the Indians had as an entire staff last year. Valentin goes on the 3-2 pitch, which is down low for ball 4. So the Sox have a pair on with 2 outs. And the number 9 hitter, the DH, Midray Cummings, coming up.
Batting ninth, number 29, the designated hitter, Midray Cummings.
Midray Cummings had those 2 home runs early this year against Detroit. Has really scuffled for playing time since then, but is starting to get some now and will get some now, especially with Reggie Jefferson sidelined. So Cummings has been waiting for the opportunity and is now here. 250 on the year, a couple of homers, and 9 runs batted in. He is hitting 9th in Jimmy Williams' lineup, but he is the DH.
That is something you don't really, see DHs very often hitting in that 9 spot in the batting order.
Up at a key spot here, though. 2 on, 2 outs. Jefferson bothered by the sore back, if he just joined us, on the DL for the next 15 days. Hard heat that time from Cologne, and Cummings can't catch up.
The last time he pitched here at Fenway, we had him clocked a number of times at 96, 97 miles an hour with the fastball.
Looks like he's that or more tonight, and being matched by Pedro Martinez. This is inside. Count is even on Midray. A ball and a strike. Keith Mitchell, newest member of the Red Sox, called up from Pawtucket. He takes Reggie Jefferson's place on the 25-man roster. He is the second cousin of Kevin Mitchell. You remember him. Keith has big league time with Cincinnati, also with the Braves in Seattle. 3 balls and a strike. Key situation here. Hitters count for Midray Cummings. 2 on, 2 out. Kenny Lofton has to come in on this one. He'll make the catch, and that will retire the side. Sox threatened but failed to score. No runs, 1 hit. They strand.
Nesson tonight after a coverage of Red Sox baseball. For Fox Sports News, you'll get scores, highlights, and analysis from everything in sports today. That's Fox Sports News after the game, live on Nesson.
Here come the Indians, top of the 3rd inning of this scoreless ball game. Number 9 hitter for the Tribe, the second baseman David Bell. Then back to the top of the order, Kenny Lofton and Omar Vizquel. Buddy Sun, 270 on the year, 7 homers, 27 runs batted in.
And he's making his 68th start tonight at second base. Remember, early in the year, it was Sean Dunston that was playing second base. Bell kind of took that position over.
Offline drive. Vaughn snares it. Hung in the air long enough. Vaughn able to hustle over and make the catch. 1 out.
Now, those at times can be very tough to judge because it's right toward the end of the bat. And you think it's hit hard, but it's not really hit that hard, and Vaughn has to time his leap perfectly. I think that was going to probably land in foul territory, but Vaughn gets the first out.
The center fielder, Kenny Lofton.
1 gone for the Tribe here in the 3rd. Top of the order, Kenny Lofton. Back home in Cleveland after that year in Atlanta. Lofton, after the first pitch, rolls it to second base. Benjamin DeVaughn. So far, a quick inning for Pedro Martinez. 2 quick outs.
Happens a lot, doesn't it? After you strike out that first time up, that second at bat, you swing at the first pitch. You don't want to get to 2 strikes. Lofton with 28 steals is 3rd in the league behind Henderson and Shannon Stewart of Toronto. Henderson with 38 has the lead.
Omar Vizquel at the plate. Looks at ball 1. 294 career-wise against the Red Sox with a couple of home runs. You don't necessarily think of home runs when you see Vizquel. You certainly think defense. Fly ball here to right field. Bragg is over to make the catch. 1, 2, 3. Top of the 3rd. No runs.
for Sox.
Bartolo, come on, all set to face the Red Sox here in the third inning. He's from the Dominican Republic, cooling himself off in the dugout between innings. It shouldn't be that hot here. He should be used to this. He's all set to go again, though, as Darren Lewis at the top of the order coming up for the Sox here in the home half the third. Lewis, Bragg, and Garcia Parra. Strike one to Lewis, who had a single to center back in the first inning. 5 for 25 now for Darren Lewis. Second half of the year. Yankees in Detroit tonight. Detroit will be the next stop for the Red Sox. Lewis ground ball right side. Covering is Colon to get the throw from the second baseman David Bell, one out.
I think that might be one of the most difficult plays for a first baseman who's not played there a lot. You have a tendency to want to chase every ground ball, and that time Branson way off his position. But it's right there for the second baseman Bell, and Colon does his job by covering first, getting his foot out of the way of the runner, and getting the out.
Branson making just his third appearance at first base this year. Well, with Tomey sideline, he's in there. Our pitching duel is living up to its advanced billing. Martinez and Colon. And Bragg looks at strike one. Bragg was called out on strikes his first trip.
Bragg made a minor adjustment in his stance, and he's been hitting the ball better since. His front foot is opened up more toward the pitcher instead of closed. And it looks like he's a little freer in his swing. And Jimmy Williams was talking about that. He started a few games back. I think you see that front foot kind of pointing not directly at the pitcher, but opened up just a bit.
Foul fly down the left field line, a ball and 2 strikes.
Before having to sit out with that groin injury, had hit in 5 or 6 games at a .455 clip.
Ten hits and 22 trips. Line foul. Look out in the seats. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Cleveland manager since 1991. Mike Hargrove has been since he replaced John McNamara in the Indians dugout.
Well, he's done a great job with this team too. They've had a lot of stars here, and continues to get the best out of them.
Has some strong personalities, particularly on past teams. Indians, of course, came within a whisker of winning it all last year. 588 wins in his 8th major league season. Al Clark doesn't move at third base, and down on strikes goes Darren Bragg.
It looked like Terry Kraft pointed at the ball and the bat and made the call himself. Looked like a slider again outside. That's what he got him on last time up. And there's Kraft pointing right at Bragg and saying, "You're out. I don't have to ask for help." You know you went. Just waiting, hopefully, that the umpire would miss the call, maybe.
Not so. 4 strikeouts now for Colon. Bases empty, 2 outs. Here's Nomar. Takes one up high. 1 ball, no strikes. Indians came within a whisker of winning it all last year. They couldn't hold the lead late in the ball game. Florida Marlins winning it in the 7th game of the World Series. Look at Mike Hegan, one of the Cleveland broadcasters, outside the broadcast booth here. He's saying, you know, an interesting year in Cleveland, but they're looking obviously forward to postseason play. They've been there so often. They have the big 11.5 game lead over the Twins. They've not been threatened in the Central. They will not be threatened in the Central. They have led wire to wire. They're the only champions the Central Division has ever had. They won it in '95, again 96, repeated last year, and will win it again this year.
Well, the Yankees certainly give him a hard time, don't they?
And they were saying that that's one of the reasons that maybe the Indians would go after a guy like Randy Johnson, because it certainly would help in a series against New York. This one hit well by Nomar to right field. Back Ramirez to make an over-the-shoulder catch on the warning track. And that'll retire beside. 1, 2, 3 again go the Sox, although Nomar gave it a ride. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. 3 complete at Fenway, still scoreless. Pretty good ball game going here tonight at Fenway. Indians and Red Sox scoreless as we move to the top of the 4th. Big doubleheader coming your way tomorrow. Tim Wakefield pitches for the Red Sox tomorrow night in the first of 2 here on NESN at 7 o'clock against the Tribe. That's followed by Fox Thursday night baseball, Tampa Bay and Anaheim. Immediately following the Red Sox and Indians tomorrow night here on NESN. 2 for the price of 1 tomorrow night. Scoreless ball game. David Justice steps in here against Pedro Martinez. Goes after the first pitch. Grounds to Mo Vaughn at first base. Mo wins the race to the bag.
Manny Ramirez at times has been criticized for his outfield play, but you'd never know it by this play. Got an excellent jump on the ball. Nomar heard it way down that right field line, but Ramirez takes it right in front of the wall and takes extra bases away from Garcia Parra. He really got a good jump on that ball. For a while it looked like he was running too close to the foul line, but then regrouped and made the play.
1 out in the Cleveland 4th, and here is Ramirez.
How many times the guy that made the great play hits second in the inning?
1 time every 9 times would be the average, I would guess. Breaking ball wide. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ramirez, selected to the American League All-Star team by his manager Mike Hargrove. Bernie Williams unable to play, and Grover tapping Ramirez. And ball, 2 strikes.
Good breaking ball there by Martinez. That's a jelly leg breaking ball. Throws it directly at Ramirez. You see the flinch and then the strike.
What Pedro comes back with here. 1-2. Breaking ball down and away. The count is even now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No runs, 2 hits for the Indians. No runs, 2 hits for the Red Sox. We're in the top of the 4th. 3 strikeouts for Pedro, 4 strikeouts for Bartolo Colon. Pedro's total now matches Colon as he blows the fastball by Ramirez. We go to our NESN studios and check in with Bob Rogers. Bob?
Bob, Dave Steve making his first Major League start since 1993 in the back end of a doubleheader for the Blue Jays. The White Sox won Game 1 9-3 with help from Albert Bell's 26th home run. This RBI double by Jose Canseco, though, gives Toronto the 1-0 lead. The Blue Jays, by the way, 8 games behind the Red Sox in the wild card race.
And back here at Fenway Park, Brian Giles stepping in here for the Indians. And Giles swings and misses. 1 strike the count. Dave Steve, first start in 5 years. His comeback so far has gone pretty well. Wasn't taken too seriously at first. Went to Syracuse, pitched very well. Jays called him up, pitched well in relief, and now is being rewarded with a start tonight in Chicago against a hot-hitting White Sox club. That's a strike. 2-2. Indians were out looking for pitching help in the past or various trades. Giles was a name that always came up, and John Hart held on to him. The left fielder now down on strikes here. 1, 2, 3 go the Indians in the top of the 4th. 3.5 played here at Fenway Park. Sox and Tribe scoreless. 1.5 singles. Both clubs have 2 hits, and both clubs scoreless here as we move to the 4th. Pedro Martinez, Bartolo Colon. Mo Vaughn leads off. Troy O'Leary, John Valentin to follow.
Well, I think Mo expected to hear some boos coming back to Fenway after rejecting the latest off for the Red Sox, and he's got a few here tonight. Didn't seem as bad this time around as the first time he was announced.
Rounded to second. His first at bat goes after the first pitch from Colon here in the 4th and fouls it back on the screen.
Oh, trying to get permission from the umpire to maybe go back and get some pine tar on that bat. You just can't walk from the batter's box to the on-deck circle and do it. You have to. Actually, you're not allowed to do that unless you ask permission from the umpire, and that's what Mo did.
Permission granted, mission accomplished, and back to work. Bob Rogers also tracking all of the Mark McGwire at bats tonight for St. Louis. McGwire actually took last night off. He did come into the game late as a pinch hitter and grounded out, but sat out last night in a ball game at St. Louis. Both he and manager Tony La Russa feeling it would be good for McGwire to have the night off. Going down on strikes as Colon racks up number 4.
Well, it's pretty much what hitters expected in this one. You got two guys that have been pitching great all season who are on top of their game here tonight. That fastball up and away from Vaughn with 2 strikes. 4 strikeouts now for Colon. And 5 for Martinez.
All-star pitching duel here at Fenway. Here's Troy O'Leary, and O'Leary looks at a called strike.
You see, when they make pitches like that, when they're hitting the corners, it's not fair.
And they've been hitting corners tonight. Field made to Al Clark at third base. 2 strikes. O'Leary finds himself in a hole. More so with Colon on the mound. Line drive, base hit, center field. Leary falls behind in the count, hangs in there, and delivers a 1-out base knock. 3rd hit for the Red Sox tonight.
Well, guys back-to-back that have to get going. O'Leary and Valentin both have struggled recently, although Valentin swung the bat well in Baltimore. Pretty good pitch that O'Leary hit there. The breaking ball was down, but he'll golf it into center field for the base hit. And then Valentin had his struggles again as we headed to Tampa Bay. Every time it looks like he's going to make a move on that batting average, he has a stretch of 2 or 3 games where he doesn't get a hit.
Broke an 0 for 11 skid with that single you mentioned back in the 2nd inning. Sox trying to put something back-to-back. O'Leary and Valentin here in the 4th.
The other thing, Bob, with these 2 pitchers, you know, when you get guys on the mound that don't give up a lot of hits, you like to try to play hit and run, steal bases. But they're both tough to do that against. The strikeout pitches, and a lot of times you don't make contact. Those are tough guys to put plays on with.
Valentin in the hitter's count here. Here's the 2-0 pitch. A nasty one, knee high. Outside corner, 2-1. Colon over his last 8 starts has won 6, lost 1, throwing 3 complete games, and has an ERA of under 2, 1.88. I mentioned he's working on a 5-game winning streak. He's pitched into the 8th inning in 6 of his last 8 outings, so generally he's around for a while. But here, Valentin, line drive, base hit, right field. O'Leary will stop at second base. Ramirez, a very strong throwing arm in right. Sox have 2 on with 1 out.
Now Valentin taking what Colon will give him, a fastball away, and just shoots it in that gap between first and second. You see a little hesitation by O'Leary to make sure the second baseman didn't catch the ball, and because of that he has to hold up at second base.
Yeah, interesting situation here for the Sox. O'Leary at second, Valentin aboard at first with 1 out, and a guy at the plate, Scott Hatteberg, who has good career numbers against Colon, although went down swinging his first trip. Scott has struggled all season long with runners in scoring position. Battling Colon here. Tough pitch again, outside corner.
Well, there's that 2-seam fastball, the one he turns over and hoping for a ground ball if the hitter makes contact.
Fly ball left field. Brian Giles makes the catch for the second out of the inning, and we'll head down to our Nesson studios and check in with Bob Rogers. Bob?
Well, Bob, with that loss in Game 1, the Blue Jays have fallen under 500 for the first time since June 23rd. We said Dave Stieb back as a starter for the first time since 1993. Albert Bell hits this one back to 1993. He now has 9 home runs in his last 8 games. It's 2-1 Chicago in the second.
Boy, he's something else, huh? He had a home run in Game 1, another home run in Game 2.
Maybe somebody now will be more likely to take his salary than a month ago. Boy, you saw Steve make a mistake with the breaking ball, and Bell made him pay, didn't he?
Mike Benjamin hits with 2 on, 2 outs. Smoke to third. Nice play by Fryman across the diamond to Branson in time to end the inning. No runs, 2 hits. Sox strand a pair. We played 4 at Fenway tonight. Matched up against tonight fellow countryman Bartolo Colon. Game that has been all that it's been advertised to be. Travis Fryman, Sandy Alomar, and Jeff Branson coming up here for the Indians. Pedro Martinez, an economy of pitches so far, just 50 used for the first 4 innings. One ball, no strikes now on Travis Fryman. Called out on strikes back in the first. Martinez has struck out 5 tonight. He has not walked a batter. Indians are the second best road team in the American League. Only the Yankees have a better mark. Cleveland 27-17 on the road. Actually have a better road record than they do at home at Jacobs Field, where they have sold out 252 games and counting in a row.
Yep, sold out for the rest of the season.
Deal made to the first base umpire, Jim McKean. 3 balls and a strike. Or correct the count at 2-2 now. Upper left-hand corner of your screen. Foul tip. Hatteberg can't hold on. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fryman down on strikes for the second time tonight. That's a half dozen for Pedro.
Well, halfway to the point he had the last time he faced the Indians. He had 12 upstairs. They like to do that to Fryman when they get ahead of him, especially if you have a good hard fastball. And that is the 78th time Fryman has struck out this season. He pretty much consistently goes over that 100 mark, but does provide the power and drives in runs.
Sandy Alomar makes contact, rolls it off the end of the bat and over towards the box seats. 1 strike to count. 6-time All-Star. MVP of the All-Star game a couple years ago at Jacobs Field. Fly ball, center field. Lewis there to make the catch. 2 outs.
That is something. You know, Sandy Alomar, the MVP 2 years ago, and his brother Robbie Alomar, the MVP this season.
Number 11.
Some talk they would be reunited. As you know, second base has been a big problem for Cleveland. They've gone through a number of them. You were talking during David Bell's last at bat that earlier this year they had Sean and Dunston. Before that, last year, Tony Fernandez. A couple years ago, they made that contract offer to Tim Naring, trying to make him a second baseman.
Hey, they may have found that guy in Bell.
Yeah.
He's done a nice job for him.
The constant in the infield has been Vizquel at short.
You know, Bob, I was writing down the stats tonight, and I wrote Vizquel at shortstop on my card, and then I wrote down 1 error. 1 error on the season at shortstop of Vizquel. I mean, that's amazing. And it's not like he doesn't get to a lot of balls either.
Oh, he gets to all of them. Or so it seems. 5 straight Gold Gloves, but he's been the constant. They've had a cast at second base. They've had 3 third basemen in the last 3 years. Tomey and then Williams last year. Fryman this year. Martinez makes quick work of Branson. 1-2-3 go the Indians. 4.5 played here at Fenway Park. Sox nothing, Tribe nothing. Field going for Boston. Doc Gooden will pitch for the Tribe. 7 o'clock game time here on Nesson. Friday night's game you can see on Channel 68. Saturdays from Detroit on Nesson. And Sunday afternoon again at 1 o'clock with Sean and Jerry on WABU TV, Channel 68. That's the upcoming schedule for the Sox through the weekend. Midray Cummings leads off for the Red Sox here in the home half, the 5th inning. A lot of zeros up on the scoreboard. Midray's 0 for 1 tonight. Flied out to Lofton in center his first trip. Cummings steps on this one, hits it high and long. If it's fair, it's gone. It's gone. A home run for Midray Cummings, and that will break this scoreless tie. Cummings in the DH role tonight comes through big time with home run number 3 on the year.
How dare you hit me ninth as a DH? Said it before about Midray Cummings, one of the best fastball hitters on this Red Sox team. And he is way out in front of that pitch and drives it right down the right field line. That ball was crushed by Cummings.
Red Sox have the lead. Darren Lewis follows. Base hit center field.
Well, it's nice to see a couple of these Red Sox hitters getting well again tonight. Cummings with the home run. Lewis has 2 hits. Valentin has 2 hits.
Number 56, the right fielder, Darren Bragg.
Sox hit total now is 6. They about hit the Tribe 6-2. They've got the big 1-0 lead on the scoreboard. Here's Darren Bragg. Bragg squares, bunts, drops it down the first baseline. It's a good one. Branson to the second baseman. David Bell covering, advancing Darren Lewis into scoring position.
Now that gives you an idea how these managers feel about this game and the way both pitches are going in this game. Bragg getting the job done. The sacrifice down the first base line. Now some may say, well, why don't you just steal Darren Lewis with his speed? Well, Colon gets the ball to the plate very, very quickly. Tough to steal against, and Alomar, of course, has a good throwing arm. So much better percentage there to sacrifice.
Bragg did the job very efficiently. One pitch, got the bunt down. So Lewis at second base for Nomar Garcia-Parra, who's 0 for 2 tonight. In the dirt, 1 ball, no strikes. One out into the 5th inning. Bartolo Colon's pitch count is 70. Hot shot to short, and back safely at second base is Darren Lewis. Liner to Vizquel to retire Garcia-Parra, and Lewis able to stay out of a double play.
They just barely stay away from that double play, too. Vizquel takes a couple of steps in and catches it before he hits the ground, and they almost double up Lewis. It took a while for Bell to get to the bag. The ball was hit so hard, and that's the difference in the play.
Well, Lewis is second base, 2 outs now, and that'll leave it up to Mo. Well, I guess it won't leave it up to Mo. They're going to put Vaughn aboard with first base open and take the chances with O'Leary.
Now, it makes sense for Hargrove because Vaughn, the cleanup hitter, and O'Leary, who has struggled since the All-Star break. Mo and Hargrove having a little fun as Mo smiles at Hargrove and he smiles back. Mike said, what do you expect me to pitch to you with first base open?
Four straight balls put Mo aboard. 2 on, 2 outs, and Troy O'Leary will make his way to the plate. Lewis at second, Vaughn at first with 2 outs. Troy O'Leary hits here. He's flied to left and singled to center. Pitch is in for a called strike. Following the intentional pass to Vaughn this year, Sox are 1 for 5. The 1 hit belongs to O'Leary. That was back in April. It was a big hit O'Leary had, though, after following the intentional pass to Vaughn. It came back April 15th. It was a game winner against the Oakland A's. Sox are winning all those games in their final at bat back in the month of April. 2 balls and a strike. Three and one. Intentional walk to Vaughn was the first free ticket issued tonight by Cologne, who's fallen behind O'Leary 3 balls and 1 strike. Fouled back out of Fenway, and that'll run it full. So Lewis at second base and Vaughn at first will be off with the payoff pitch to O'Leary. With Lewis that added step, trying to score from second base on a base hit as John Valentin waits his turn in the on-deck circle. Runners are in motion. 3-2 pitch, and it's fouled off by O'Leary.
After a number of pitches away from O'Leary, tries to go back inside with the fastball. A lot of fastballs in this at bat to Troy.
Runners go again, and O'Leary down on strikes to end the inning. That's 5 for Cologne. For the Red Sox, they get 1 on the home run by Cummings. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left. 1-0 Sox as we head to the 6th.
This and more are now available at NESN.com, your online ticket to New England sports.
Pedro Martinez now with a 1-0 lead as he goes to work here against the Tribe in the 6th inning. David Bell, the number 9 hitter, to lead it off. And back to the top of the order, Kenny Lofton and Omar Vizquel. 10 in a row retired by Pedro since Sandy Alomar's infield single back in the 2nd inning. Troy O'Leary camping under this one, had to reach back to make the catch that time against Bell. 1 out, and we'll go to our NESN studios and check in with Bob Rogers. Bob?
All right, Bob, the Yankees finally snapped that miserable 1-game losing streak last night. The panic in the Bronx is over, and they're on a pretty good fast start tonight. They're up 3-0. Ricky Leday, the double the other way, makes it 3-0. The Yankees up with Hideki Arabu throwing the shutout right now in the 5th.
Back here, it's Pedro Martinez working on the shutout, but he just has a 1-0 lead. Indians batting in the 6th inning, top of the order here, and Kenny Lofton. Lofton has struck out and grounded to second. One ball, 1 strike. Ground ball, second base. Benjamin makes the play over to Mo Vaughn, 2 outs.
Well, that certainly helps in a one-run game. Keep Kenny Lofton off first base, as he can turn those base hits into doubles in a hurry.
Sox are pleased to announce that right-handed closer Tom Gordon will make his online chat debut. That'll be tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Tomorrow, July 16th at 2, Tom Gordon will be chatting with you on the Red Sox official website, www.redsox.com. Tom Gordon tomorrow at 2. Sounds like an interesting conversation. Gordon an all-star this year for the first time. So was Omar Vizquel, who fouls the bunt attempt at the plate. 1 strike to count.
And once again, the off-speed pitch throwing off the timing. Vizquel times that bunt on a fastball, and instead he got the changeup from Pedro Martinez.
Now he gets the fastball from Martinez. 1 ball, 1 strike. 12 in a row now retired by Pedro, who has given up just 2 hits tonight. They both came back in the 2nd inning. Martinez has racked up 7 strikeouts, has not walked a batter. Difference in the game, the home run by Midray Cummings in the bottom of the 5th.
Talked about 1 error on the season for Vizquel. That error came back in April in a game at Tampa Bay. I mean, that is unbelievable for a shortstop. 1 error past the All-Star break.
Vizquel makes contact, rolls it to second. Benjamin DeVaughn, 1, 2, 3, goes to Tribe in the top of the 6th. We played 5.5 here at Fenway. Pedro leading the Indians 1-0.
Same amount of chicken this week?
No, triple it.
Oh, something going on?
Make sure we have lots of ranch dressing with bacon.
And how much Monterey Jack?
How much you got?
Now you're talking.
It's back. Wendy's Monterey Ranch Chicken Sandwich. A whole breast filet, Monterey Jack, and creamy ranch with bacon. It's the sandwich everybody loves.
Dave, you think we have enough?
You're right. Order more.
Wendy's Monterey Ranch Chicken Sandwich. Come and get it.
It's going.
Hello.
Todd Wallace, please.
This is Todd.
Bill, it's Citizens Bank. It's about your home equity loan.
Oh. I just applied. Is everything okay?
Well, you didn't get the amount you asked for.
I knew it.
No, you were approved for $15,000 more.
Really?
Citizens Bank. Quick turnaround and the not-so-typical habit of trying to give you more than you asked for. Citizens Bank.
1-0 Red Sox lead as we move to the bottom of the 6th. This August 11th is Wally the Beanbag Buddy Day at Fenway Park. The first 15,000 fans, 15 and under, receive a Wally the Beanbag Buddy, compliments of Fenway Franks. To order tickets, call 617-4824-SOX. Red Sox baseball, what a game.
And a great game to watch tonight. A 1-0 Red Sox lead. John Valentin leads off the bottom of the 6th inning. Valentin followed by Hatteberg and Benjamin. Alone 82 pitches so far through the first 5 innings. The one by Midray Cummings left the park in the bottom of the 5th, and that's the difference tonight. And ball, no strikes on John Valentin. A pair of singles for John. Had been 0 for his last 11 coming into play tonight. Has singled to left and then singled to right. That's a strike, 2-1. Colon came into tonight leading the American League in ERA 2.56, second to Scott Erickson of Baltimore in complete games. Ground ball, right side, backhanded here by Bell. Bell to Branson, 1 out.
I think the impressive thing about Colon, Bob, the fact that he's a strikeout pitcher, obviously with the hard fastball, but then he turns it over and can also keep his infielders busy with the ground ball out.
Number 10, the catcher, Scott.
Had some veteran pitchers go through the Tribe the last number of years. Remember when McDowell was with Cleveland, Oral Hershiser last year. They named 2 of them, but now they're building it around the youngsters, that pitching staff. Jared Wright, Bartolo Colon.
And they've got a veteran that helped them this year, and Dave Berber. Burba's certainly not at the stage of his career where guys like Hershiser and McDowell were. But he's contributed with the 10 wins, 10 and 7 on the season.
And there were some that were asking Cleveland general manager John Hart about a trade. He usually makes one about this time of year to really strengthen his ball club for the postseason. But Hart said, this year we may have made our July trade in March, referring to the trade for Burba, who's been with the Tribe all year. Slated to be Cincinnati's opening day pitcher, and they traded him right at the end of spring training. Although there are reports that Randy Johnson may be dangled again. Whether or not the Tribe have interest or would match up with Seattle, but boy, Johnson would really help them in a series against the Yankees, being a strong left-hander like he is. Because, as you mentioned, Cleveland does have problems with New York. 1 ball, 2 strikes here on Scott Hatteberg, who was struck out and flied to left. Ground ball through the left side of the infield. Hatteberg has his first base hit of the night.
Well, that's 7 for 12 now for Hatteberg in his career against Cologne. Just takes that fastball, slaps it the other way between third and short. Red Sox now have 7 hits in the ball game.
Mike Benjamin, who has been such a valuable player for the Red Sox this year. Career highs already established in hits, doubles, and RBIs as he gets a ton of playing time. Omar went down back in May. Benjamin starting 16 straight games at shortstop, and now he's been the everyday second baseman with all the injuries there. Was sharing the spot with Lou Merlone, who's sidelined. Merlone, by the way, has a deep bruise inside the knee. It was revealed in an MRI the other day.
Brian Rose was waiting for some results, too, of an MRI that was taken up at the UMass Medical Center. Was hoping to hear today. That's a heck of a bruise Maloney got, huh? It lasted a long time.
Half foul at the plate, a ball and 2 strikes.
I think he hit his knee on the top at Yankee Stadium when the Red Sox were there, and has been bothering him ever since.
There was some concern because they thought that by giving it the rest they gave it, that it should have been responding better than it was. But it has been revealed as a deep bruise, and hopefully Lou will be able to get back to action soon.
Hey, Jeff Fry was in the Red Sox clubhouse today looking good. Coming back from that knee operation.
Ground ball right side. Bell makes the play to Branson for the second out of the inning as Hatteberg moves into scoring position at second base and will move into scoring position by going downstairs with Bob Rogers. Bob?
All right, Bob, and we'll move out to Comiskey. The White Sox had a 2-1 lead on the Blue Jays until Mr. Canseco does it again. Not a whole lot of muscle on this one, but he does get it through into center field. It's an RBI. He has both of Toronto's RBI tonight. It's 2-2 in the 4th.
Game 1 of that doubleheader tonight in Chicago went to the White Sox 9-3. Albert Bell has homered in both ends of the doubleheader. There's the man who has the home run for the Red Sox tonight, Midre Cummings. Homered last inning, bats here with Hatteberg at first base and 2 outs. Hatteberg leading off a second. Cummings has 3 home runs this year. They've all been huge. One sunk Detroit. Actually, both of them sunk the Tigers. 2 game-winning home runs against Detroit back in April. Very close together, and the home run to break the scoreless tie here tonight and give the Red Sox the 1-0 lead. Cummings, like most players, has always thirsted for playing time. Been through a couple of organizations. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Could get a long look from the Red Sox here with Jefferson sideline. 3 balls and a strike. Big strike 2.
A lot of breaking balls in this at bat. He went to the fastball there on the 3-1 count, but notice away from Cummings. The last time was inside, the one he hit for the home run.
Three-two pitch, and Cummings down on strikes, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit. Hatteberg stranded at second base. 6 strikeouts now for Cologne, and a 1-0 Red Sox lead after 5.5.
Fox Sports has a long tradition of innovation. You can see that same spirit in every Fox Sports News show.
End up in that hot zone, because our goal isn't to give you just a score, a highlight, or a stat.
It's about trying something new, something different.
It's to take you closer to the story than ever before.
Let me ask you about that 3rd down call.
God throws me something low and away.
At least that's the plan.
Nesson and the Bruins. On our team, education always finishes first.
If there's any message out there, I think that kids have to understand that regardless of how good you are in athletics,
right to go to the Boston, and what a check by Don Sweet.
You've got to have the wherewithal to stick through school and have that to fall back on. So it instilled in me at a very young age that that was going to be a priority.
Everyone wins when education comes first. RedSox.com, the official website of the Boston Red Sox. Follow the games pitch by pitch, chat with your favorite players, buy your tickets online, and shop at the Red Sox Cyber Store. RedSox.com. Check out media notes and post-game coverage. Review Jimmy Williams' video play of the game, and take the Cyber Sox Challenge. RedSox.com. It's a whole new ballgame.
6 complete. The Red Sox have the 1-0 lead on the Cummings home run. Tune in tomorrow morning for Nesson's Sports Desk. Bob Rogers will get you ready to start the day with a review of everything in sports from the night before. So get all the highlights, scores, and news tomorrow on Sports Desk starting at 5 a.m. on Nesson.
Pretty good ball game going for you tonight here on Nesson. 1-0 Red Sox lead. David Justice leading off the 7th inning for the Indians. Meat of the order for the Tribe coming up here against Pedro Martinez. David Justice, Manny Ramirez, Brian Giles. Pedro's retired the last 13 Indians since Alomar's swinging bunt back in the 2nd inning. Pedro has limited the Tribe to 2 hits. They both came in the 2nd. A single by Ramirez leading off the inning, and then with 2 outs, Alomar topped the ball down the 3rd baseline that died in the infield grass between home and 3rd, with Valentin back on his heels. Deep at 3rd base. Those are the only 2 Indians to reach. Martinez ended that inning by getting Branson on a called 3rd, and the Tribe has not been heard from since. We're talking about one of the best offensive teams in baseball. Team that has had at least 1 extra base hit in every game this year. They do not have one tonight. Slam foul down the right field line by Justice. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Watching Pedro pitch in this game, he has made almost no mistakes with balls up in the zone, unless he's wanted to go up in the strike zone and out of the strike zone against certain hitters when he gets a couple of strikes. But the changeup and fastball have been down just about all night.
Justice reaches out, protects the plate, still 2-2. One run, 7 hits for the Sox. No runs, 2 hits for the Tribe. Again, fouled off by Justice. And primarily a DH for the Indians this year. Swing and a miss. blows the fastball by him. 8 strikeouts tonight for Pedro Martinez.
Well, he's doing exactly what he wants to do. There are a couple of changeups down and away that Justin was able to foul off, and then Pedro right back inside and high with the fastball. Right up underneath the hands, and picks up another strikeout. This is about as good as we've seen Pedro since back in the early part of the season. He's had some great games in between, but really sharp tonight.
And his 5-game losing streak stopped the last time out against the Orioles. Breaking ball to Ramirez, a called strike. Ramirez with that single we talked about back in the second, then went down swinging in the fourth. You were saying when Martinez was going through that slump, when they were speculating maybe it was this, maybe it was that, you were saying that it was location, and his location has been great tonight. The 1-2 for Martinez. Hit high in the air. Vaughn backing up at first base. Benjamin back on the outfield grass. Benjamin will make the play. 2 outs. And we'll go to our Nesson studios and check in with Bob Rogers. Bob?
Bob, the Yankees are really incredible. They're looking for their 67th win of the season. They just keep rolling along. Tim Raines, who was struggling with an 0-for-15 streak, snaps it with a base hit up the middle to score Paul O'Neill. It's 4-0 now in the 6th.
Back here at Fenway, a 1-0 lead for the Red Sox. Bases empty, 2 outs for the Tribe. Left fielder Brian Giles at the dish. Looks at ball 1. Giles has flied to left and struck out. Hot shot, base hit, left field. The first Indian hit since the 2nd inning. Snaps the Martinez string of 15 in a row. Retired Giles with a 2-out base hit here in the 7th.
Giles really has been hot since coming off the Saberless. He'll take this Martinez fastball to the opposite field. Again, it was a good pitch by Pedro, down and away, but a nice piece of hitting by Brian Giles. You know, at the beginning of the season, it seemed like almost every hit he got was either a home run or an extra base hit.
He's at first base, 2 outs. Travis Fryman, that one's in the dirt. Knocked around by Hatterberg, but keeps it out in front of the plate. No advancement by Giles.
That ball get through Hatterberg and hit the umpire, or did it hit Hatterberg? Breaking ball, and guess he got a piece of Hatterberg and just stayed around home plate. Keep that man out of scoring position with the 2 outs. Giles has some speed. 6 stolen bases. Been caught 3 times.
Giles goes, pitches a ball. Here's the throw by Hatterberg. In time, he's out at second base. Hatterberg guns down Giles to end the 7th. 7th inning stretch here at Fenway Park. A 1-0 lead for the Sox.
Sox have the 1-0 lead. The Red Sox are looking to continue their winning ways in the second half of the season. Don't miss your chance to root for the Red Sox. Good seats are still available for upcoming games. Call the ticket office at 617-482-4SOX. Well, Mike Hargrove trying to get a man in a scoring position. Giles, who has good speed, but Hatterberg had the benefit of the fastball and a nice play at second base by Mike Benjamin. The throw starts to tail right back into the runner, and Benjamin able to hold on as Giles makes contact with the glove. Good hard fastball, giving Hatterberg some time to make the throw, and a nice tag. Nice play there by Benjamin to get the out. A lot of times you see that ball kick right out of the glove of the second baseman, the shortstop. Not that time.
Well, they get Giles at second. Still a 1-0 Red Sox lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Top of the order, Darren Lewis up here against Bartolo Colon. Lewis in the air to right field. Ramirez is over to make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. Colon has made only the 1 mistake tonight. Ray Cummings took him deep, leading off the 5th inning.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a mistake either. I mean, that's a pretty good fastball. The Cummings hit the daylights out of it. That ball was hit a long way.
And give the batter some credit. Well, he really did crush that to right field. Cummings' 3rd home run of the year, a 1-0 lead for the Sox. Darren Bragg. Oh, who'd that one get? The umpire?
Obviously there, which is unusual. Alomar getting crossed up on that pitch. Usually you see him get crossed up with a man at second base, but to this fastball, he just barely gets a glove on it and probably saved the life of the umpire.
Harry Kraft behind the plate. One ball, 1 strike on Bragg. 0 for 2 tonight. Called out on strikes in both the 1st and 3rd innings, and then dropped down a sacrifice bunt in the 5th. To center field, hit well. Lofton is back. Lofton on the warning track. Lofton makes the catch. What a play by Lofton. Tough play too, right over his head in center field. Lofton back to take extra bases away from Bragg on the warning track. 2 outs.
Boy, that's a tough play too, because that's really more of a line drive than a fly ball. And Lofton got a great jump on the line drive. Now usually that's the toughest play for a center fielder, that ball directly over his head. But he's able to make the catch, close it up in the glove before he hits the wall. A terrific play by Lofton. They can throw some leather, can't they?
It's been a terrific ball game to watch tonight. Great pitching, great fielding. Gold Glove center fielder. Here's Nomar, 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 3 tonight. Fielder's choice in the 1st inning, a fly ball to right in the 3rd, and then a soft line drive to Vizquel. Last time up. Bartolo Colon against Pedro Martinez.
Well, so many times, Bob, you have these great pitching matchups. They don't happen very often during the course of a season, and you build them up, and they blow up, within 3 or 4 innings. Well, that's not the case here tonight. This has been terrific.
Foul back by Nomar. 1-2. Sox about hit the Indians 7-3. They lead them on the scoreboard 1-0. Foul tip off of Alomar. Still 1-2 on Garcia-Parra. In Wakefield, Dwight Gooden match up tomorrow night, 7 o'clock game time. That will close out this all too brief 2-game homestand for the Red Sox. To Detroit for 3 and Cleveland for 3 before returning to Fenway. Down on strikes goes Garcia-Parra. That's 7 on the night for Colon. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We go to the 8th. Still 1-0 Boston.
Fans, this copyrighted program is brought to you under paid cable TV rights granted by the Boston Red Sox, solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the accounts and description of this game without the written consent of the New England Sports Network and the Boston Red Sox is prohibited.
Fenway Park, home of the All-Star game next year. Venerable Ball Yard playing host to a great pitching duel tonight. Pedro Martinez leads the Indians 1-0. Travis Fryman leads off for the Tribe here in the 8th inning. 1 ball, no strikes on Fryman, who's been up twice tonight and has struck out twice. Called in the second, swinging in the fifth. Rounded to third. Valentin makes the play. Valentin to Vaughn.
Seems like it always happens, Bob, when you have a well-pitched game, you have great defense behind you. You know, the guys are on their toes. The thing's moving along quickly. Valentin makes a fine play, taking a base hit away from Fryman. Crossover step, stays low to the ground, and of course has plenty of time to throw him out at first base.
One out in the Indian eighth. Sandy Alomar bats, waves and misses at the breaking ball. One strike. Alomar has the infield single and a fly ball to center field on the scorecard tonight. There's the strike. A nasty one on the outside corner. 0-2. Anyway, Faithful really enjoying this one. Breaking ball down and away. 1-2. Here's the 2-2 from Pedro, and fouled off by Alomar. Martinez won his debut for the Red Sox back on opening night against the Oakland A's, winning that one 2-0. Pedro going 7 innings in that ball game after his 12th win of the season tonight. This point of the ball game, 96 pitches thrown by Pedro Martinez. Alomar fouls it back. First walk issued by Martinez tonight. It comes with 1 out here in the 8th. So Alomar reaches for the Tribe.
The first baseman, Jeff Branson.
Pedro working down to the bottom of the order. The number 8 hitter, the first baseman, Jeff Branson. Ground ball to short. Garcia Parra goes to second for 1. Back to first. Branson will stay out of the double play with Garcia Parra having to go in the hole for that one. But they get the lead man Alomar at second.
Too far to the right of Nomar to be able to get the double play. You have Nomar going to his right. You got the left-handed batter at the plate. He's going to be able to get out of that box quickly. The backhanded play. Benjamin backs off the bag, but not in time, as Branson will beat it out. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter as Jim Thome will come out to hit for Bell.
Now batting for Bell, number 25, Jim Thome.
One of the most feared sluggers in the American League. Thome having an outstanding year for the Indians. The all-star first baseman. Hit by the Andy Pettit pitch last night. Left that ball game. Was in the original starting lineup, but scratched tonight. Forearm bothering him a bit, but he is available for pinch hitting duty, and we will see him now. It's the ball game last night. Andy Pettit on the mound for the Tribe. And Thome hit by the pitch and had to leave the game.
Thome had been wearing out the Yankees, and very early in the game, Pettit gets him off the forearm.
326 for Thome, 24 home runs and 74 runs batted in. In the dirt, blocked by Hatteberg. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, he was so much fun to watch at the All-Star game and the home run hitting contest and during the game. I mean, here's a guy that was at the All-Star game and enjoyed being there.
Blue-collar player, likes to get the uniform dirty. Big feature on Tommy this week in Baseball Weekly. Third baseman of the Tribe, who moved to first base last year to make room for Matt Williams on the hot corner. 2-0. A good hitter's count for Tommy. Martinez buzzing him inside with a fastball. Working carefully, it's 3 balls, no strikes. Outside corner, strike 1.
Tommy first in the league in on-base percentage, .435, second in walks to Ricky Henderson.
Swing and a miss. Strike 2.
You see down and away. See Tommy shaking his forearm there after that last swing. Change up by Martinez on the 3-1 count. And obviously a little bit painful there for Tommy.
That's ball 4. Pedro missing downstairs. Tommy, who draws a lot of walks, as Jerry mentioned, draws one here. That will push the potential tying run into scoring position for the Indians. Brings up Kerrigan out of the Red Sox dugout. We're going to have a pinch runner now for Cleveland.
It's like Sean Dunston going in to pinch run at second base.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. For Cleveland, now running at second base, number 9, Sean Dunston.
So Dunston, the pinch runner. He's at second. Tomey's at first. 2 outs. 2 outs for the Indians here. Top of the 8th inning. It has been a heck of a battle.
Number 7, the center fielder, Kenny Lofton.
Top of the order for the Tribe. Kenny Lofton 0 for 3 tonight. Dunston at second. Tomey at first with 2 outs. That's a strike. 1-1.
A lot of changeups for the last 2 hitters. Tomey, back-to-back changeups to start off here against Lofton.
Spun him around. 2 balls and a strike. Pop-up should end the inning. John Valentin backpedaling at third with the call and the catch. And that will retire the side. Cleveland strands a pair. 7.5 in the books from Fenway. Pedro and the Red Sox with a 1-0 lead.
We've got your team.
Here with Michael Jordan.
Hey, Jansen.
Derek Jeter.
Sergei Fedorov. Breaking stories.
We have learned tonight.
That's the latest from Seattle.
That's a wrap.
We are all over the stack. Exclusive interviews.
If I hit 70 home runs, I retire.
We are there.
New York.
Chicago.
Seattle.
San Francisco.
Los Angeles. Fox Sports News.
Home team. Fox attitude. Weeknights at 10 on Nissan.
Hey, beer man.
I'm the fastest beer man in Texas. That fan is thirsting for a cold frost brewed Coors Light, and I'm the guy that's gonna give it to him, punk.
This game has passed you by, old-timer. I'll give this fan a cup of ice-cold Rocky Mountain refreshment faster than you can blink.
All right, 2 beers.
You still got it, old man.
Not bad yourself, kid.
Your New England Ford dealer's factory-authorized clearance is sure to make you happy with the biggest savings of the year. And this year, they'll make you even happier by starting early. Hurry in now and get low 0.9 financing for a limited time. That's less than 1% financing for 48 months on Taurus, Contour, ZX2, Escort, and Ranger. Or choose up to 1,000 cash. Don't wait. Clearance is here early.
Back here at Fenway Park, the Red Sox with a 1-0 lead as they come to bat here. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Time to check our game summary. Pedro Martinez at 1 point retired 15 straight. He has 8 strikeouts on the night. 2 walks, both of them coming in the top of the 8th inning. Bartolo Colon, 7 strikeouts. The difference in the game, Midray Cummings' 3rd home run of the year. He hit it leading off the 5th inning. It is 1-0 for the Sox. John Dunston, the new second baseman, who was into the game as a pinch runner. Jim Thome playing first for the Indians. Those are the defensive changes for Cleveland, as Vaughn will lead off the bottom half of the 8th inning. Sox lost a 1-0 game here to the Mets on June the 6th. They have the 1-0 lead over the Tribe here tonight as Vaughn fouls this one back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last time the Sox won a 1-0 game here at Fenway Park, John Dobson beat the Yankees back in June of '92. They have a 1-0 lead as we speak here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2 balls and a strike. Malone is gone all the way, matched by Martinez. Indians in the 9th inning send up Vizquel, Justice, and Manny Ramirez. A dangerous trio. Malone set. Here's the 2-2 now to Vaughn. Ground ball right side. Sean Dunston at second base will underhand to Thome. 1 out. 6 in a row retired by Colon. 7 of the last 8.
Number 25, the left fielder, Troy O'Leary.
Vaughn retired in a ground ball to second. Here's Troy O'Leary.
How about that pop to the glove there? And this is what, the bottom of the 8th inning?
Just thinking that 8th inning, and you can still hear the ball crack into the catcher's glove all over the ballpark. Here's the 1-0 now to O'Leary. O'Leary loops it to center field. Lofton is there. 2 outs.
Number 13, the third baseman, John Valentin.
Couple of hits for John tonight. Singles in the 2nd and 4th inning. Ground ball to second in the 6th. Ball wide. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, the impressive thing about both these guys tonight, I mean, both power pitches, obviously, but they're making pitches where they want to make them, and they haven't missed their spots very often at all.
Valentin got a piece of it, fouls it back, still 1-2. Again, foul back to the screen by Valentin. No one has left Fenway tonight. They have either a full house or very nearly so. Every seat filled on a great night for baseball. Great pitching duel and a 1-0 Red Sox lead. Here's the 1-2 to Valentin. Fly ball. Out to left center field. Kenny Lofton backpedaling a few steps, still short of the running track as he makes the catch, and that retires the side. So a great job by Colon tonight. And now we head to the top of the 9th inning. The Red Sox and Pedro Martinez 1-0 up on the Tribe. Introducing the fastest way to get gas, Mobile Speed Pass. It's free and it's only at Mobile. By Citizens Bank, not your typical bank. And by Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service, we deliver. A 1-0 lead for the Sox as Cleveland comes to bat here, top half the 9th inning. Pedro Martinez with 2 complete games for the Red Sox this year. 1 shutout. That was back on April the 11th here at Fenway against Seattle. He blanked them 5-0. Pedro is 2-1 in his career in 1-0 games. They've all come with Montreal. Sox have not had a complete game 1-0 win here at Fenway since Roger Clemens beat the Indians back in 1987. Rolled to third. Here's Valentin up. Throw. He got him. What a play. Valentin on the bunt attempt by Vizquel.
Well, it's not going to surprise anybody that Vizquel bunts to third base. He's been trying to bunt all night. Valentin's in close, but you still have to make the play, and Valentin makes a great play. Goes to the bare hand, the off-balance throw, and throws a strike to move on for the out. No surprise to Valentin, and he's going to bunt, but you still got to make the play, and he made it.
Out by a flash at first base, Vizquel. 1 out in the Cleveland 9th inning. Here's David Justice. Long swing, and he missed it. 1 strike. Justice 0 for 3 tonight. Base hit, center field. Justice made solid contact, and the Indians have a base runner with 1 out.
Well, they're not going to go easy, that's for sure. They had a couple of base runners in the 8th. Martinez got the changeup for an out to end the inning, and here's a changeup, but right back up the middle, right over the head of Martinez for the base hit for Justice.
Mark Whitten will pinch run now for David Justice. Former Red Sox Mark Whitten started this year in the Mexican League, signed by the Tribe, and pinch running here tonight.
Number 24, the right fielder, Manny Ramirez.
Dangerous hitter here, Manny Ramirez, who could give the Indians the lead with 1 swing of the bat. Ramirez 1 for 3 tonight. Time call, the late time call by Harry Kraft.
Well, as Martinez, you got to regroup now, get back on the mound, concentration back on the hitter. That's frustrating when you're ready to make your pitch and timeouts call like that very late.
Strike on the outside corner. Breaking ball down and away. 1-1 on Manny Ramirez. Brian Giles on deck. Tom Gordon warming in the bullpen for the Red Sox just in case Martinez runs into difficulty here in the 9th inning. On holding with Witten at first.
See, the way I feel, he's already got difficulty right now. You got a man on first base in a 1-0 game and a hitter like Ramirez at the plate. That base runner really kind of takes out of the flow of the game, you know, stepping off, throwing to first base.
Here's Ramirez fouling it back. Hargrove, you saw, with a relaxed look over in the Cleveland dugout. Great pitching duel. His team behind 1-0, but he sits on an 11.5 game lead in the Central Division. This has been a terrific one to watch. If you're a baseball fan, Fenway Park is the place to be tonight. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 9 strikeouts for Pedro Martinez.
And he got Ramirez to chase one. That was not a strike. Fastball away, down and away off the outside edge. Ramirez can't make contact. If he made contact with that pitch, he probably would have hit it right to the Red Sox on deck circle.
Ryan Giles, the hitter for the Indians. Swing and a miss. Strike one. He chased one down at his ankle. Giles 1 for 3 tonight. Singled his last at bat, then was thrown out attempting to steal to end the inning. In the dirt. Saved by Hatteberg. A ball and a strike. Up and away, 2 balls and a strike.
Everybody standing here at Fenway.
Ground ball, right side, should be the ball game. Benjamin DeVore, and the Red Sox win it 1-0 on a 4-hitter by Pedro Martinez. Sox are back at Fenway, and what a terrific job by Pedro Martinez. First 1-0 complete game win for the Red Sox since Roger Clemens blanked Cleveland back on May the 27th of 1987. And tonight it's Pedro Martinez who 4-hits the Tribe. High fives from everybody. What a terrific job tonight by Martinez. Citizens Bank presents a not your typical player of the game, and is there any doubt who the player of the game is tonight? Pedro Martinez, the complete game shutout, his 3rd complete game of the year, his 2nd shutout. 4-hitter for Martinez. He struck out 9, walked 1. The player of the game has been brought to you by Citizens Bank, not your typical bank.
In the mobile extra mile play of the game, the home run. The only run in the ball game by Midre Cummings is coming back in the 5th inning. 3rd home run of the year. Cummings is DH tonight, hitting out of the 9-hole. It's the home run, and that's the game winner for the Red Sox. Mobile goes the extra mile for you.
That was all that Martinez needed, the home run by Midre Cummings to win his 12th game of the year against 3 losses. 1 run, 7 hits for the Red Sox, no runs. Just 4 hits tonight for the Cleveland Indians. Wasn't Martinez terrific, Jerry?
Well, this is one of the top games I think you're going to see all season. And you both pitches, Bartolo, Colon, and Martinez tonight, outstanding. When you watch both guys work, they very seldom miss their spots at all. I mean, this was top shelf tonight, Bob.
And we're standing by with Pedro Martinez. Let's go downstairs to Debbie Robleski. Debbie?
Thank you very much, Bob. This was quite a matchup, Pedro. The young Dominican versus the middle-aged Dominican. Just tell me what it was like going out there facing Bartolo Colon tonight.
Well, before the game, I told him to just go out there, do his thing, because that's exactly what I had in my mind. I know that we're good friends, and I give him some tips sometimes about the game and stuff like that, about pitching. But it's game time. It's my enemy, and we have to go out there and battle like we have to.
This is quite a lineup, the Indians. Was this one of the toughest ones you faced all year?
Of course, they're one of the best in the league, so you have to tip your hat to them, and they're all good hitters, and I respect them all.
And you got some help from the hitters tonight, too, with Midre Cummings hitting the home run.
Of course. I guess we needed something like this to turn it around. Hopefully tomorrow we'll come back with a positive attitude and ready to win again.
How about the 9th inning, too? Talk about that.
Well, that last inning, all I had in my mind since I went in was to get the first batter out. And after that, I'll just work around the other batters. I knew I had Gordon behind me, so I trust him a lot, and I'm sure he would have done it for me, too.
And you had some good defense behind you tonight as well. Scott Hatterberg threw a runner out, and everybody seemed to be right on.
Well, when things go well, everything goes well. But the worst thing is when you're struggling, and that's when everything seems to go the other way. But tonight we had everything on, and we were focused, so we played a good game.
And hopefully it'll